that you'll view in just a few minutes. Our host is Theo Mayer, and he'll be chatting with you briefly before the ceremony. After the video ceremony, we have a moment of silence. You'll view in just a few minutes. And after that, you'll be able to share your thoughts about Veterans Day. It's a nice time to speak about anyone in your circle of friends and family who have served in World War I or at other times. And we welcome you and encourage you to please share your thoughts with us. So we'll get started in just a few minutes. Thank you. We also have a chat room available to you all this morning. If you'd like to share any thoughts there, we have the URL for the Doughboy Foundation. If you'd like to learn more, please go to that URL. Hill, again, will be joining us in a moment. During the sharing portion of the program, you can use the reaction button at the bottom of the screen. Just wave your hand or put a thumbs up and we'll find you and open your mic.
Hi there. Welcome. We're going to have a few remarks that we're going to start in a moment. We've been doing these now since East Coast 11 a.m. And so it's been really wonderful. We've met a lot of great people doing this. As we head west, it gets more and more intimate. We were over capacity and had about 150 people on YouTube, as well as full capacity here at 100 on the East Coast. And as we're heading west, it's getting more intimate. We've had, however, some great conversations. Because this is timed so that the bells toll actually at 11. I'm going to vamp for another moment or two and get started so that everything times together. One of my favorite people we met today was a young cadet from Virginia Military Institute who was talking about their quad at the academy and all of the World War I remembrance that is a part of that, and that's why he joined us. It was a very interesting conversation. As Kathy mentioned at the end, we're going to open the mic and make an offer to all of y'all to share your thoughts, and we'll get into the specifics in just a little bit. I'm going to give it just about one more minute before we get going. Okay. On behalf of the Doughboy Foundation, welcome to Bells of Peace on Zoom, the Pacific Time Zone edition. I'm Theo Mayer. I'm the Chief Technologist for the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission and the Doughboy Foundation. You met Kathy on the way in. She's helping us out here today. And we're both really happy that you're able to join us. We have a wonderful program for you that we're going to start in a few moments. As you may know, Bells of Peace started as an initiative in 2018 as a part of the 100-year anniversary of the World War I armistice. It's now evolving into an annual remembrance for those who served in World War I and the moment when the guns fell silent and the bells tolled on the Western Front on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour in 1918, after years of brutal combat. It's brought to you by the Doughboy Foundation, and people ask and wonder, who is the Doughboy Foundation? Well, the Doughboy Foundation is the nonprofit organization that's been working hand in glove with the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission since 2013 to commemorate the centennial of World War I, and also now building the National World War I Memorial in Washington, D.C. So even after the World War I Centennial Commission sunsets in 2024, the Doughboy Foundation is going to carry on the mission of keeping the faith with the Doughboys, making sure that the memory of World War I doesn't fade back into the mists of obscurity. And they're going to take an important stewardship role in the memorial in Washington, D.C., the new memorial, which is under construction now. Most important thing today is your participation with Bells of Peace. So after the tolling, we're going to have a moment of silence, and then we'd like to invite you to participate directly. So the question I'd like you to speak to is, why is it important to you that we remember those who served, and especially perhaps those who served in World War I? Honoring our veterans is a deeply personal experience. A lot of people have joined us today who have a long family history of service. If you'd like to share your thoughts, it'd be very meaningful. So welcome, and we're going to go ahead and start the program in just a moment. Please stand by.
At the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns fell silent on the Western Front, bringing an end to the First World War. Our nation has recalled that moment on this day through the decades. Now, 100 years later, we gather here today to remember lives sacrificed in the service of our country and those traumatized and injured in battle. We also remember and pay tribute to our 28th Commander-in-Chief, President Woodrow Wilson, whose final resting place is here at the Washington National Cathedral. May we have such a devotion to justice and freedom that the heroism of all who fought may continue to be remembered in a nation of service, and in a world of peace. We gather this day to glorify God who sustains the world, to remember with thanksgiving those who lived and died in the service of our country, and to ask God's help and blessings that we may be worthy of their sacrifice each day of our lives.
We'll now take a moment to reflect. You know, we commemorate war, but we celebrate peace. And this is the part where we'd like to open some mics and have you all share some of your thoughts on why you think that remembering our veterans, and especially our World War I veterans, is important. You can go underneath the reaction tab at the bottom of your interface and select a hand wave or a thumbs up. Kathy's going to be looking for you and invite you in to unmute your mic. Kathy's going to check the list now, and I'm going to mute for a second.
Taking a look here. You can also raise your physical hand if you don't see the tab.
Hi, Scott. I just sent you an invitation to unmute. Hi, Scott. Welcome.
Hello. My grandfather served in World War I, submarine service, machinist mate, first class Edward Miller. He was on K-class submarines out in the Pacific. And of course, all the World War I vets are gone. I served in Desert Shield Storm, my brother in Vietnam. So if we forget, we'll repeat the horrors of war. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for sharing, Scott. Can you unmute her? I don't see her. Ah, there's Bev. Hi, Bev.
Hi, sorry. My grandfather, my Zeta, originally from, we're not quite sure, Russia, Prussia, Ukraine, at that time, who knows what country it was, immigrated here to the US, naturalized citizen, and he served in World War I as a ground crew for the Army Air Services in France. So World War I has a special place in my heart. My father and uncles served in World War II. They were drafted. But at 18 and 19 years old, my uncle, at the age of 19, his life was changed forever. He had shell shock. The story was that he was with the Army Air Services bombardier and he dropped bombs. There was a crash on the way back from Germany to England, and he was the only survivor. And from that moment on, his life, I won't say was destroyed, but changed. He had amnesia for several years and then could never live by himself. Ended up in veterans hospitals and then a veterans home, died at the age of 63. Found out a few years ago doing some research that he was never in a crash. He flew one mission and just lost it. Had what's now known as PTSD, but it was a secret. No one knew it other than my father and his parents what really happened. So for mental illness, it's important that we recognize our service members that have mental illness or PTSD, that it's not something to be ashamed of. Sorry, I'm getting a little choked up.
No, and you know what you're saying is not only true, but in World War One, what they called shell shock was actually an offense that they court-martialed some people for. We've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, and then just one last thing I do want to say is last year for the 100th commemoration, I did visit the World War I Museum in Kansas City for Veterans Day. And it was one of the most moving, wonderful experiences I've ever had. I'm 54. I consider myself still kind of young, but I decided at the last moment to go, and I'm so glad I did. It's such a wonderful, beautiful tribute.
And it's a wonderful venue. Yes, if anybody can make it to Kansas City, it's beautiful. They have a walkway there where you walk over the poppies representing those who were lost. It's a beautiful venue and a beautiful place. And sometime very soon, you'll also be able to come to Washington to the new World War I Memorial. One of the things that I wanted to mention as you brought things up for all of y'all, we have available to anyone who wants it. You know, in '76, a lot of the records for World War I veterancies burned up. And we are publishing right now for free a World War I genealogy research guide. You can get the guide by going to www.doughboy.org. It's also in the chat room. And there's a free download. Deborah Dudek, who's a wonderful research librarian, put the book together. We made a deal with her and we're offering it to people for free. Wonderful resources and how to get started, what to find. And because it's a digital book, there's lots of live links of places to go. Kathy, do we have anybody else? Who?
Geraldine.
Are you opening up?
Yeah, I'm asking her to unmute.
Okay,
I
Geraldine.
just wanted to thank you for your website. I have used the book that you just mentioned, and I'm researching all my World War I veterans, and you have kindly posted some of them in your stories of service. And it gives me something to link to today on Facebook. So I just want to appreciate you for the website and what you're doing. And I live in California, but I've seen the construction in DC and hope to go back again.
Oh, thank you, Geraldine. And any of you want to check in, by the way, you can go to the website, the letter WW, the number 1, CC is in charlie.org, and you can watch the construction camera. We've got a live construction cam there. And Geraldine, thank you. You know, that's the commission's website. And there are over 10,000 pages of World War I reference there. It got crowdsourced. We had state organizations and volunteer groups, and we put the whole thing together. It's probably the best US World War I reference that there is, period. It's wonderful. Put anything into the search box and click search. I mean, the most obscure World War I references, I don't actually know what's on the site. You know, there's just because of crowdsourced, we sort of reviewed everything and had people on point. But you'll find incredible resources. Kathy, anybody else?
I just put it in the chat.
Oh, good.
URL.
Anybody else got their want to say something?
I don't see anybody.
Anybody else like to make a comment? I'm gonna look around. Chris Johnson, are you reaching out to comment? No. Okay. Well, look, we want to thank you all for participating in today's Bells of Peace on Zoom event. Many people wanted to participate in Bells of Peace and could not get together as groups. So we decided to do this on Zoom. We've been doing one for every time zone. It's been a wonderful experience for us. Bells of Peace, a World War I Remembrance, is one of the programs being supported by the Doughboy Foundation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Johnson, I'm trying to unmute.
Oh, yeah, please.
Just give us a second. Okay.
Oh, Chris, I think you're unmuted now.
Great, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention briefly that usually this time of year, I'm up on a personal vacation in British Columbia. I live in Seattle. And one of the reasons I choose this week is because they do such a marvelous job with Remembrance Day. And we don't seem to do a very good job of remembering our veterans in general, but in particular, our World War I veterans. And they paid a very heavy price for their involvement. And so they are very respectful in the way they remember their veterans, regardless of what their politics are. And I think it's just a great example of people coming together. And they usually have representatives from U.S. branches as well at the event that I attend. But this year I'm stuck south of the border, so I'm observing online and remembering my grandfather who served on the Western Front and swallowed poison gas.
Thank you, Chris. Great comments. A lot of folks from Canada actually participate in Bells of Peace as well. It's really good. You know, if anybody is interested, you can get more information. It's brought to you by doughboy.org. You can learn more about the foundation, the work that it's doing, and how to support their programs if you're interested. Anyone who made a comment in the chat room that we didn't get back to, we'll get back to you. And thank you each for remembering our veterans. I'm Teo Mayer with Kathy Abbott. It's been our pleasure to host you on this fine Veterans Day today. Please stay safe, stay well, and so long. Thank you.
Thank you.